hate being Satan. So hot down here. Everyone else is having a good time. Meanwhile, I gotta work my ass off. Gotta be Mr. Party Pooper. Ooh, you're damned for all eternity. Plus, I'm busy tempting the people of the earth. Who would have guessed that going to hell would be such torment? You know, you're allowed to just appoint another Satan. Yeah, but they'd have to be qualified. And someone who knows the layout of hell. Maybe even someone who grew up here. And who do we know like that?
Ha! Look at this scrawny punk. Give me your lunch money.
Mr. the Bully.
Please, call me bad.
Mr. the Bully, we've asked you several times not to ask the African children for their lunch money.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. the Bully, this is the third time we've had to remind you of this. I'm afraid we're going to have to let you go from the project.
No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to better my life. I'll do better, I swear.
Well, you'll have to do it somewhere where you can say, and I quote, Nigeria, more like Dumbgeria.
Ha! Up top. No, wait!
There were some movies, terrible movies, movies so awful, no one would touch. Then came a Matthew, sad little Matthew. Matthew decided these movies to watch. For every good movie, there's at least 10 bad. Matthew gonna drag himself through the crap to find the worst ones there are to be had.
Today's episode, Little Nicky. God, they don't even have soda down here. Hello, Internet. I'm called Satan, I guess, and today I'm punishing the wicked with an Adam Sandler movie. And if you're watching this show, the wicked probably includes you. Little Nicky is a 2000s movie from infamous SNL alum Adam Sandler and frequent Sandler collaborators Stephen Brill and Tim Herlihy. Herlihy has worked as a writer on nearly all of Sandler's movies, so he's at least partially to blame for the shit films, although to his credit, he's also been on most of Sandler's best movies. Brill, who directed this film, also worked on Mr. Deeds, which I consider to be one of Sandler's better films. So, whether or not we're in good hands is up to you. Little Nicky, meanwhile, has grown a reputation as one of Sandler's worst films, and in fact, one of the worst comedies ever made. Mike Nelson of MS23K called it the worst comedy he's ever seen, and Razzies founder John Wilson claims to have voted for this over Battlefield Earth for Worst Picture of 2000. Well, that's never good. And in case it wasn't clear, this is the film that got Freddy Goes to Hell cancelled. Look, my DVD is so old it explains how to use a DVD remote on the inside, and the menu has options for pain, suffering, and agony. Guys, you only need one play button. Sorry, it's Adam Sandler. I gotta take every cheap shot I can get. The film does have some rockin' intro music, but wow, these fire effects. That's just bad. Says the guy with the shittiest green screen effects in the world. Come on, it's ironic. Ironic. Okay, they sent the green screen to me all folded up. So now it's got a bunch of creases, and creases are really hard to edit out. I make this show for free. This film had an $80 million budget. The two are not comparable. The film opens on Jon Lovitz being a peeping Tom. Ah, crap. Now I gotta go through the whole back catalog of the critic references to find an applicable one.
This is it. I'm gonna die. I'll see you in hell, Justine Bateman!
Coming up next, the Crispy Critic.
That's the best I could do on short notice. How does she not see him? Does she not have peripheral vision? I think I'd notice an obvious Jon Lovitz right outside my window. That wouldn't kill you. At best, you're looking at some cracked ribs and a severe restraining order. He ends up in hell, and it's a pretty good hell. Honestly, the hell effects are some of the best stuff in this movie. If only it weren't Little Nicky. Speaking of, we finally meet the titular character Nicky, Satan's pathetic, dorky son. Why does that concept sound so familiar? He's jamming to Van Halen when his father's assistant comes in. This terrifying demon goes by the horrible name of...
Hey, Jimmy!
Jimmy. You had all these awesome satanic names to pull from, and you picked Jimmy.
You know, it's a good point from the guy who came up with Satan the Bully.
I will damn you for eternity.
Nicky has a messed up voice because his brother hit him with a shovel.
Because the son of the devil is susceptible to shovel damage?
And while I'd prefer Sandler didn't do any voice, of his annoying voices, this is easily the most tolerable.
I'm not into evil and torture and all that stuff. Plus, the Prince of Darkness should have sort of a distinguished look to him, and let's face facts, I'm no George Clooney.
We meet Nicky's half-brothers, Adrian and Cassius, which are both much better devil names. I kinda like them. They've got a brain and brawn dynamic that I think make them potentially good villains. Unfortunately, potential is just about all this movie has going for it.
Want mine, Russell?
Actually, no, I'm alright. I was thinking of chilling out by the throne for a little bit.
I'm gonna mind wrestle you whether you like it or not.
Well, I have to warn you, I'm getting pretty good at it.
Then I guess I can't make you do this.
Okay, mercy. You win. I give.
Is that a power I have?
I don't think so.
As it turns out, Satan is retiring and is about to appoint his new successor. And guess who's playing Satan? Harvey Keitel. I don't know how Sandler does it, but on top of the SNL alum he always works with, he's always able to rope some respectable actor into his films. Harvey Keitel, Al Pacino, John Turturro. I don't know how he does it. But you know what? Keitel is a good devil. The weak link in this movie is Adam Sandler. Well, him and the humor.
Hello, Mr. Devil. I like your cape.
It's not that it's just not funny and doesn't make any sense, it genuinely interrupts what could otherwise be moments with some consequence.
Well, I think the time has come to discuss who will succeed me.
Knock knock.
Yes, Jimmy.
Don't forget, you're shoving a pineapple up Hitler's ass at 4 p.m.
And if that joke was a little too subtle, they go ahead and show it happening. That's something that's much funnier to leave to the audience's imagination.
You should see what I'm doing to Dahmer right now. Ooh. Ah. Ah. Ooh.
So Satan announces that the ruler of hell for the next 10,000 years will be himself, because none of his sons are responsible enough to maintain the balance of good and evil. That angers Adrian and Cassius, who want to up the evil and torture.
20,000 years ago, Grandpa Lucifer said it's better to rule in hell than it is to serve in heaven. Well, I'm tired of serving in hell.
You sure you don't want to do a second take?
So they come up with a plot to escape hell and create hell on Earth. And here's another Sandler staple: cameos from sports stars. I barely keep up with sports now, like hell I'm gonna know some 90s football player. But more importantly, why is this in the movie? It's not funny, it progresses the plot 0%, this should be on the cutting room floor. Anyways, Adrian and Cassius just, walk out. Seems a little too easy for something that is catastrophic to the structure of hell. It's so problematic, Nicky's grandfather, the original Satan, shows up.
Everything's fine, Pop. Everything's fine? Who you bullshitting? The last time you said everything was fine, the Renaissance happened.
Hey, no fair using Rodney Dangerfield to get me to laugh.
Now Satan is rotting away and no one can get into hell.
Does that mean that if you died during the time this film takes place, you'd automatically go to heaven?
No one can get in and out without devil's blood, and Satan is already too weak, so it's up to Nicky to bring back his brothers in a magical flask. Upon arrival in the real world, read New York City, Nicky meets his guide to the real world. Beefy.
My name is Beefy. I'm an old friend of your father's.
Oh yeah, that's way worse than Jimmy.
Beefy is voiced by Robert Smigel, a man known for playing a much more famous comic dog, Triumph the Insult Comic Dog. And, can other people hear the dog, or do they just think Nicky is talking to himself? People hear the dog later on, so why is no one making a big deal out of this?
Is this some Harry Potter muggles don't want to notice bullshit? You know, they never explain who Beefy is. Is he possessed? Is he a person who's been turned into a dog? Later on, he hangs out with another talking dog. Are they both possessed? Why is this character a dog? This character should have just been a human. They leave the train station, and is that Quentin Tarantino? Oh god, now Sandler's roping in respectable directors too. Quick, keep him away from Paul Thomas Anderson for... Oh, I actually really like that film. Apparently, Nicky has to be taught to eat in one of Sandler's other great tropes, belligerent product placement.
Popeye's chicken is fucking awesome.
I think it's funny that after this film, Sandler started shilling for KFC. Almost like Popeyes didn't like being associated with this film. I'd also like to point out that this film is PG-13, meaning they could only use the F word once, and they used it to promote Popeye's chicken. I guess you could say the only thing they gave a fuck about was product placement. Beefy has a place set up for Nicky to crash, and there's a Family Guy-style cutaway gag, which only raises more questions about Beefy's real-world status. Come on, they say never reference a better movie in your shit one, but at least don't advertise a film that could easily be playing when this film was out on a guy's t-shirt. This is Nicky's roommate, Todd, played by a man who's only ever been in Adam Sandler movies, Alan Covert, who, interestingly, is the only voice credited on the Little Nicky Game Boy game. Wait, I'm sorry, what? He's an aspiring actor and definitely coded gay. I mean, he looks like he could pass for David Dakota.
It's like 80 degrees in this hallway. Where are you from, the South?
Yes. The Deep South.
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
Well, I found my reaction shot for the rest of the movie.
Oh, I wish you had let me rub those feet. Of course, I wouldn't use my hands.
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
You love acting. I love pissing.
Hey, I think that's Sandler's personal mantra. That night, Todd sees Nicky sleeping on a radiator and making deep, evil noises. This could be dangerous. Nicky might be in a serious condition. What does Todd do?
Oh my god!
Glad he's so concerned for Nicky's safety. This next scene... it's really good. The scene has Adrian and Cassius take over the minds of a bishop and the mayor of New York, and just convince a church full of people that God is lame and sin is cool.
The Lord sure did say a lot of hibbity-jibbity, bibbity-swibbity. But has he ever really done anything for any of us?
It's funny, it's blasphemous, it moves the plot along, it doesn't have Sandler.
The Lord gave my son the strength to get off drugs.
Ma'am, I know your son. And believe me, he was better off on the drugs.
If you showed me just this scene, it would make me actually want to see this movie.
How about you, Mayor? Has the Lord ever done anything for you?
Well, you know, I wished I could think of something, but to be honest with you, I can't. I can't think of a damn thing he's ever done for me. Why don't we all just have fun and do whatever the hell we want?
Let the sin begin.
And just like that, it's over. Although the next scene is a montage of Sandler getting the shit beat out of him, so there's that. This leads to Sandler falling asleep in the park making devil noises again, which attracts discount Beavis and Butthead. This is Peter Dante and Jonathan Loran, two guys who almost exclusively appear in Sandler movies. Except when Loran appeared in Kill Bill and Death Proof. I had no idea there was this much crossover between the worlds of Adam Sandler and Quentin Tarantino. They play characters named Peter and John, two metalheads who decide to wake Nicky up when his magical flask gets stolen. Nicky's having a hard time getting it back until the woman named Valerie, played by Adam Sandler trope number 1, love interest who's way too hot for Sandler, Patricia Arquette, steps in to help. Gotta give 'em credit, though, they sure tried to make her look more his speed. I mean, she's got glasses and pigtails. You can't even tell she's hot. Well, at least she's not a snobby chick who doesn't like Sandler at first, but comes to love his goofy antics, so we can skip that bullshit. But once you know it, they run into Adrian, and he forces Nikki to be rude to her, causing her to storm off. And of course, he takes Nikki pretty easy.
I was driving to work today. Some bozo in a Cadillac cuts me off. So I followed him. When he got out of his car, I run up behind this guy and I start bashing his brains in with this bat. Did you ever see The Untouchables? I was De Niro.
What's happened to you, Regis?
Shut up, lady. This is the most interesting Regis has been in years.
The mayor's office today, in conjunction with the New York Board of Tourism, unveiled its new motto to replace the long-standing I Love New York slogan. I love hookers will now be the city's catchphrase.
I love hookers. That's the best you could come up with. Not I love sodomy, or I love murder, or hell, I love fucking. Oh, but that one might get us an R rating. Fuck, shit, fuck. I am more offensive than this movie. Alright, we're 30 minutes in, and I'm regretting what I said about Sandler's Nicky voice not being annoying. I mean, it took 30 minutes and not 3 seconds, so we're doing better than 8 Crazy Nights or Jack and Jill. Beefy wants to teach Nicky to use his evil powers.
You have the power to change the cola in that can into any other liquid. Engine oil, bat's blood, moose piss.
Yeah, this movie just makes up whatever powers. Anything that seems funny. He turns Coke into Pepsi. Hilarious. When would this ever be a viable power for the side of evil, except maybe to get kids drunk? Except the movie revealed earlier that the mayor lowered the drinking age to 10, so that's no good. Plus, you know, turning water into wine was kinda Jesus' thing. Anyway, Todd is watching the Globetrotters, and the referee, played by Dana Carvey, just before he ruined his career in another Sandler-produced project, is being a dick. Turns out Cassius is controlling him, and Nicky somehow, without a car or anything, gets to the game in a matter of minutes and almost gets onto the court, where the guy who's about to do the half-court 3-throw quits because the crowd is on the verge of rioting. He almost makes it, but Cassius blocks him, and he and Nicky have a good old game of b-ball. You know, a satanic battle.
Take him to the hole, Nicky. I mean, woof, woof.
Kind of funny. Nicky tricks Cassius into the bottle because he's clearly not the sharpest tool in the shed, and yeah, they blew the whole effects budget on hell. Then Nicky, Beefy, Peter, John, and Todd party down, and Nicky expresses his concern over blowing it with Valerie. I don't know, man. I mean, she was nice and all, and fairly attractive, but you don't, know anything about her. And this chicken is all wrong. There's way too much meat left on the bone. Hard-hitting criticism right here, folks. Adam Sandler needs to learn to eat chicken right. Peter and John go to see an Ozzy Osbourne concert, but Nicky decides he's not in the best state of mind for that, so he goes to apologize to Valerie.
Oh. Hello.
I don't think that was part of the movie. I think they just found Clint Howard's apartment. He finds her, but she does the one thing every girl in an Adam Sandler movie should have done.
What were you thinking coming here?
I don't know, but it did involve going blind.
Unfortunately, Nicky can fly because something demon powers. You know what the worst part of this movie is? Okay, the worst part is that it's not funny. But you know what makes it so unfunny? They can't just let a bad joke be bad. They have to repeat it.
You got the wrong window again, man. Oh, sorry, nipples.
Nicky explains that he's the devil's child, but Valerie doesn't know if she believes him. I don't know. If a guy was flying outside my window, I think I'd believe whatever he said. And then the flying scene from Superman. It's not even really a joke, but it is mercifully short. And then Adrian, disguised as the commissioner of the NYPD, claims Nicky is a wanted criminal with footage of Nikki's face pasted over Scarface. Like it's really obvious, and there's been nothing to suggest the people in this movie are stupid enough to believe this. Yeah, it's a comedy, so maybe in a different context that would work with the world they've built, but here it's just stupid and inconsistent.
He superimposed your head onto Scarface.
Which is probably De Palma's third best film.
What De Palma movie is better than Scarface? Maybe Untouchables, but nah, I gotta go with Scarface. Anyway, to escape an angry mob, Nicky makes up a new power where he turns into horrifying CG spiders. You know, I didn't have a fear of spiders, but I might now. Nicky needs help, and he decides to ask his dad, but first he has to die.
I've always wanted to kill someone. Can I give it a try?
Damn you, Kevin Spacey! You take all my parts!
Oh, don't worry. Kevin Spacey's got his own private place down here. We are all looking forward to it. So Nicky goes to hell, sees his father dying, and goes back to Earth. I don't think his dad helped him that much. You know, there's this neat little trick you can do where if a scene is unnecessary, you can cut it out of the film. There are deleted scenes on this DVD. What could they possibly have cut? Peter and John go to the police commissioner, played by someone else too good for this movie, Michael McKean, and say they have information on Nicky.
You want to see something cool?
Definitely.
Yeah!
Pick me a winner.
Oh god, not cool, so not cool. Of course, it was a setup to trap Adrian, but he catches on and grabs Valerie. A fight ensues, leading to both of them ending up getting hit by a train. Adrian goes back to hell, but in a twist, Nicky ends up in heaven, where he meets a bunch of angels, one of whom is Reese Witherspoon.
An angel?
I'm your mom.
Yeah, I believe Adam Sandler's related to Reese Witherspoon about as much as I believe he's related to Courtney Cox. That was in a movie, wasn't it? God damn it, Sandler. You're already casting half the hot actresses as your love interest. You can't make them your family, too.
Cubs, I'm so sorry. I totally spaced. I have company. This is my son, Mickey.
Hi.
Chubbs used to be a golf pro, but up here he's just the dopest dance instructor.
Hey, it's a reference to that much better Adam Sandler movie, Happy Gilmore. Adrian discovers he can take the throne of hell from his weakened father. And God, angels are so annoying.
Oh, puppy phone. So cute. Hello. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, he's here right now.
Makes me kind of glad I'll end up in this place forever.
Soon you will see things more horrible than you could even imagine. Well, maybe not that horrible, but still pretty bad.
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
So because Nicky is part angel, he can use the power of light, which, seems kind of pointless since his devil powers seem to encompass anything he needs them to. She also gives him a Deus Ex Machina, just in case.
Release the awesome. What you do is put it in your mouth and let the meat slide down your throat hole.
You know, thematically, since Satan's duty is to maintain the balance of good and evil, it makes sense for Nicky to have to use his good and evil powers together. But you know, deeper ideas be damned, he's just gonna do good. The fight goes on for a while, his mom intervenes, which was stupid because he can fly, and finally they both get sucked into the flask. Hardcore satanic action.
You can do it, Nicky! Kick him in his hairy balls!
Hey, it's a reference to that much better Adam Sandler movie, The Waterboy. Nicky makes it out, but uh-oh, it's not Nicky.
The power of good lets you fly out. Well, you're too late, Nicky.
Oh, let me think here. There have already been a few Ozzy Osbourne references, and now he's a bat. Ozzy Osbourne, bats. I don't know, this could end anyway. This movie's so unpredictable.
So Ozzy bites his head off and Nicky takes them home. He decides, however, to live on Earth with Valerie, which I'd like to point out was a massive problem when his brothers did it. There's an Animal House style epilogue, but the only funny bit is that Nicky's mom started dating Chris Farley.
And that's Little Nicky. Is it Sandler's worst movie? As we say down here, hell no.
Not that it's any good. The jokes, generally speaking, are pretty awful, and that's obviously the big draw of a comedy film. Also, a lot of the story needed to be reworked or cut entirely, but for a guy with films like Going Overboard, Jack and Jill, and 8 Crazy Nights on his resume, this could have been a lot worse. And as with many of Sandler's films, Sandler is the weak link. His character's annoying, and his juvenile sense of humor destroys what could potentially be a good idea for a movie. But I like the concept, a lot of the visuals are good, there's some decent performances, and for a guy who's grown a reputation for just using his films as an excuse to go on vacation, he's trying, damn it! This is by far Sandler's, and even Happy Madison's Productions' most ambitious film. I just can't call that the worst thing he's ever done.
And while Nicky's home might be in hell, mine is not. I gotta get a replacement so I can get out of here.
Well, I know someone. But you're not gonna like it. Hey, Bad.
Hey, man. What's up?
How goes being good?
Terrible. I'm not good at anything but being mean.
You're not exactly good at being mean either. I mean, you, want to talk about it?
I mean, I tried being a nurse, but I kept stealing the kids' lollipops. I tried working at a suicide hotline, but I kept telling all the people to kill themselves.
Oh, that's not good.
At least 3 of them didn't do it out of spite. But then I tried being a firefighter, and then I learned you shouldn't just punch fires out. I learned that one the hard way.
Well, Bad, I think I might have a place for you.
Boy, it sure is dark in here.
Yep, this is it, the deepest level, where all the worst people are sent. Start off easy. There's Kim Jong-un. Insult him.
Ha! Kim Jong-un? More like Kim Jong-dum, am I right? Ha!
Alright. Let's try again. There's Stalin. Try Stalin.
Joseph Stalin? More like Joseph Stupid. Ha!
Alright, yeah, you're getting it.
Alright.
There's that pussy Charles Manson. What do you gotta say to him?
Charles Manson? More like Charles Moron, am I right? Up top.
Alright, the big one. Hitler.
Mein Kampf? More like Doomkampf.
Nice one. Please, the torture is better than this. Can it, Koresh?
Branch Davidian? More like Branch Dumbvidian.
Ha, you got it. Well, Bad, I appoint you the new Satan.
You mean it?
I think you finally found your place.
Wow! This is amazing!
You know, his name might be Bad, but he's actually a good kid.
Yeah. Hey, wait!
No, tell her it's a bird. It's just a big bird.
Sorry about that whole no soda thing. Here's a Coke for your trouble.
Oh, thanks. Hey, wait! This is Pepsi!